Whenever we talk about electric vehicles, the first name that comes to our mind is Tesla or China. There is such competition between these two that people cannot even imagine another electric car. But no one knew that amidst this competition, a country has quietly made a new electric vehicle which is cheaper than people's expectations, which costs only $20.99 US dollars. Although it had already been claimed, people were taking it lightly. But when it was launched in the global electric vehicle industry, it created a stir in the entire market. The thing to think about was that its price was just equal to a bike, which even a common man can buy. It is not only cheap, but also smart, efficient, and completely made on Indian soil. Today we will try to know everything about it. After all, how is this Indian company launching such a vehicle at such a low price? We will tell you the complete details of this vehicle in this video, so watch the video completely, and if you are new to the channel, do not forget to subscribe to it so that you can get new updates on time. A new superpower has arrived, and it's driving on 4 electric wheels. For decades, the electric vehicle race felt like an exclusive club. China built empires with scale, America dazzled with tech, Germany perfected the machine. These were the giants, bold, brilliant, and backed by billions. Meanwhile, India was barely acknowledged, a country known more for chaotic roads and fuel inflation than innovation. No one expected it to enter the race, let alone take the wheel. But while the world watched Silicon Valley dream and Beijing build, India was busy doing something else entirely, engineering a silent rebellion. There were no flashy expos, no billionaire CEOs tweeting prototypes from luxury test tracks. Instead, there were quiet policy shifts, whispered innovations, and a growing sense of urgency across a population that had long been priced out of the EV conversation. In the shadows, India was preparing for a moment that would change the future of transportation, not just for itself, but for the entire planet. It began with 2 wheels. Electric scooters started appearing on dusty lanes, inside narrow alleys, and outside crowded metro stations. Ola, Ather, and TVS weren't launching revolutions, they were becoming them. Every scooter sold wasn't just a sale, it was a crack in the armor of fossil-fueled legacy. Then came the leap no one predicted. 4 wheels, full electric, mass market, built in India for India and beyond. Tata Motors ignited the spark with practical EVs. Mahindra joined the charge. Global brands like MG and Hyundai followed suit, sensing the storm brewing. But the turning point wasn't from a corporate giant. It came from a name so unknown, so unexpected, it felt like a myth at first. Yakuza Auto. No hype, no teaser campaign, just a car, fully electric, fully operational, priced at $2,099. Let that sink in. While global EVs boast $40,000 price tags and chase elite markets, Yakuza launched a real production vehicle that costs less than a high-end smartphone in the US. Not a concept, not vaporware, a working, registered, road-ready machine, ready to move the masses. The Yakuza Mini EV is not for luxury showrooms or tech expos. It doesn't boast self-driving features or 500-mile batteries. What it offers is far more radical, dignified electric mobility for the average human being. It has 4 wheels, a compact body, a functional interior, and a battery that delivers over 100 kilometers of real-world range. It isn't pretending to be futuristic. It's answering the needs of today. For delivery workers navigating crowded lanes, for college students who dream of independence, for working families balancing rent, bills, and the cost of survival. This car is not a trend. It's a turning point. And the price? That's the shockwave. At just under Rs 175 lakh, the Yakuza Mini EV did more than disrupt. It embarrassed the global giants. Because for all their power and funding, none of them could do what this little Indian company just did. Put an electric car within reach of the billions left behind. Critics asked the usual questions. Is it safe? Is it strong? Will it last? But they missed the point entirely. Because this isn't about gadgets, it's about access. It's about making electric mobility something real, not reserved, something functional, not aspirational. And in doing so, Yakuza Auto didn't just build a car, they rewrote the rules of an entire industry. While Silicon Valley dreams of Mars, India just built something the world actually needs, an EV for Earth, built with local parts, crafted by local minds, designed for real-life roads and real-world wallets. And now the world is finally looking India's way, not with skepticism, but with awe. Because the future didn't arrive in a hyperloop. It came in a boxy blue mini car, priced for the people, powered by purpose, and born from a country that was never supposed to lead, but now might define everything. No one saw it coming. Not Silicon Valley, not Germany, not even China, the undisputed king of electric mass production. While the global EV race was being defined by luxury, autonomy, and futuristic hype, something astonishing was quietly unfolding in a place few had bothered to watch, the streets of India. Not in the form of a billion-dollar tech company, not with a silver-tongued CEO promising the moon. It came in the shape of a small, boxy, almost unassuming car, built not to impress but to liberate. Its name? The Yakuza Min EV? Its price? Just $2,099. And that number alone was enough to send tremors through boardrooms across the globe. This wasn't a product of glossy advertisements or Super Bowl spots. There were no sweeping launch videos, no grand expos under flashing lights. The Yakuza Min EV rolled out the way a revolution does, quietly, stubbornly, and without asking permission. It wasn't designed for Silicon Valley engineers or European businessmen. It was crafted for the unsung millions. The college student commuting in Delhi, the delivery worker weaving through Ahmedabad, the mother getting her kids to school in a remote town where buses break down more often than they arrive. For them, this wasn't a car. It was independence, dignity, progress wrapped in steel and circuitry. For decades, the electric vehicle conversation was dominated by the elite. Tesla dazzled with over-the-air updates and sci-fi dashboards. BYD surged ahead with state-backed innovation and fully electric fleets. But in their pursuit of bigger batteries and autonomous wizardry, they left something critical behind: the people who couldn't afford their vision. And that's where India struck. While the West debated LiDAR sensors and premium interiors, Yakuza Auto asked a simpler question: what does a daily commuter actually need? The answer wasn't complicated. It was clarity on the road, a small footprint for dense cities, decent range, and a price tag that didn't feel like a mortgage. So that's what they built. A compact, functional, brutally efficient electric car that didn't try to impress. It simply worked. No touchscreen fantasies, no self-parking gimmicks, just a battery, a motor, and enough heart to carry a nation forward. And what followed was pure disruption. International media didn't know how to respond. Analysts called it too cheap to be real. Skeptics questioned its safety, its longevity, its performance. But all of them missed the point. This wasn't about performance. It was about permission. Permission to enter a market that had long been told, "This is not for you." Yakuza Auto didn't just deliver an affordable EV, it redefined who electric mobility is for. And in doing so, it cracked the EV industry wide open. From Detroit to Tokyo, automakers began asking themselves uncomfortable questions. How did a small Indian startup, without access to the global capital and industrial networks of giants like Ford or Volkswagen, manage to deliver a road-legal EV for less than the cost of a premium bicycle in the West? The answer was in their approach. Local sourcing, modular design, distributed manufacturing, and a refusal to overcomplicate what should have always been simple. Yakuza didn't cut corners. It cut out the noise. And what's more stunning is that this innovation didn't originate in some sterile lab or research hub. It was born in the reality of India's cities, in the traffic jams, the narrow lanes, the relentless demand for value. While billion-dollar companies built cars for the top 10%, Yakuza built for the other 90%. In a single bold move, they turned the EV market on its head, not by offering more, but by offering enough. Now, the ripple effects are impossible to ignore. In Europe and America, consumers are asking why they're still paying $30,000 for electric cars that deliver only marginally better utility. Emerging markets across Asia and Africa are looking to India not as a follower, but as a pioneer. Global giants, once smug in their dominance, are scrambling to adapt, because the future they were designing for the privileged few has already arrived, just not the way they imagined it. The Yakuza Min EV didn't win by chasing trends. It won by answering needs. It reminds the world that the most powerful technology isn't the most advanced, it's the most accessible. And perhaps, for the first time in the electric age, It's not the fastest or flashiest car that defines the future. It's the one that anyone can afford. India is no longer just driving change, it's building it. Beneath the rising hum of electric motors and beneath the quietly advancing Yakuza Min EV, a deeper, more powerful transformation is taking place. This isn't just a story about a small, affordable electric vehicle turning heads across the globe. It's the story of how an entire country is reinventing the roads beneath its feet and the sky above its wires. A few years ago, the idea of an electric car navigating the chaos of Indian traffic felt laughable to most. It was dismissed as a Western luxury, too fragile for potholed streets, too dependent on steady electricity in a country plagued with power cuts, and too expensive for the average citizen. Charging stations were rare. Trust in batteries was even rarer. The infrastructure was non-existent, and the public imagination simply wasn't ready. But today, all of that has changed, and changed dramatically. Step into the India of today, and you'll see charging stations popping up like ATMs once did in the early 2000s. They're not just in the elite corners of Delhi or Mumbai. They're quietly emerging in second-tier cities, expanding into smaller towns, and even making appearances along remote highways. Metro stations, shopping malls, public parking areas, corporate campuses, and even middle-class apartment complexes now offer places to power up. The act of charging an EV has quietly become routine, an everyday moment, no longer something foreign or futuristic. The pace at which this transformation is happening is astonishing. Fast charging technology is reducing downtime dramatically. A car like the Yakuza Min EV, designed with efficiency in mind, can often be fully recharged in just a few hours. For apartment dwellers, overnight charging spots are becoming standard. Slowly but surely, EV-friendly design is being baked into India's urban DNA. But these charging stations aren't just feeding on dirty coal power. That's where the story becomes truly inspiring. India is embracing renewable energy like never before. Vast solar farms stretch out under the Rajasthan sun, while giant turbines spin along Tamil Nadu's coastline, sending clean energy into the grid that powers tomorrow's transport. So when you charge your electric car in India today, you're not just saving money on petrol. You're often charging it with the power of the wind and sun. This isn't just progress. It's a quiet, radical revolution. And it hasn't happened by accident. The Indian government, once known for dragging its feet on industrial change, is now setting the pace. Under ambitious schemes like the National Electric Mobility Mission and FAME, policy has become a launchpad, not a speed bump. EV buyers are rewarded with financial incentives, manufacturers receive tax cuts, battery production is being localized, and a new wave of startups like Yakuza Auto are being empowered to dream bigger, knowing the system is finally working with them, not against them. The ripple effect of this transformation is everywhere. Indian Railways is now electrifying its own footprint, installing EV chargers at major stations. Municipal corporations are adding electric buses to their fleets. Food delivery giants like Zomato and Swiggy are shifting to all-electric fleets. These changes aren't just policy directives. They're cultural signals that the age of electric mobility is no longer coming. It's already here. Even deeper than policy or technology, however, lies the most important shift of all, a change in mindset. For decades, owning a car in India was a symbol of arrival, a status upgrade, a trophy of success. Now it's becoming something more practical, more forward-looking. Young professionals are skipping motorcycles and moving straight to compact EVs. Retirees are trading in their fuel-hungry sedans for quiet, reliable electric cars that glide without gears or gasoline. Families are now buying electric for their children's first commute, not just for the planet, but for peace of mind. Indian cities, too, are beginning to evolve around this shift. Urban layouts are now being drafted with EV zones in mind. Parking lots have begun including designated charging points. Housing societies are drawing blueprints with common charging stations. Even HR departments are offering benefits to employees who choose electric commuting over conventional transport. Insurance companies are revising premium models, acknowledging that EVs tend to be safer and cheaper to maintain in the long run. And in the center of all this, the Yakuza Min EV stands as a perfect metaphor for India's EV journey. It doesn't boast outrageous horsepower or a tech-heavy dashboard. It doesn't make headlines with speed. What it does is quietly deliver on everything that matters: affordability, sustainability, and reliability. Values that resonate deeply with a new India that's not chasing hype, but building a better future. The people's car, that's rewriting the future of mobility in a quiet corner of the world. A revolution was born, not in towering labs of Silicon Valley, nor in the sleek design rooms of Europe, but on the bustling streets of India. It came not with a roar, but a hum. No headlines, no fanfare, just a small electric car silently rewriting the rules of transportation. This isn't a machine made for the rich, it's a machine made for the world. Meet the Yakuza Mini EV, a compact, no-nonsense marvel that's quietly driving straight into history. While global giants chase ultra-fast acceleration and autonomous tech, this humble vehicle has achieved something far more powerful: mobility without barriers. Forget luxury, forget hype. This car is not a symbol of wealth, it's a symbol of access. For decades, clean vehicles were locked behind the gates of wealth. But now, something extraordinary is happening. Families in Ghana, farmers in India, students in Vietnam, all can now dream of an electric vehicle without mortgaging their futures. The Yakuza Mini has flipped the script from only for some to finally for all. Imagine this: a delivery worker in Lagos who no longer burns half his earnings on petrol. A nurse in Bangladesh reaching her patients without relying on public transport. A single mother in a Peruvian village driving her children to school, not on the back of a bike, but in a safe, silent, reliable EV. That's the power of this tiny titan. It doesn't dazzle with chrome. It doesn't chase awards. What it delivers is dignity, and that's more valuable than any touchscreen dashboard. With a lightweight frame, swappable batteries, and a range that keeps expanding with every update, the Yakuza is not just affordable, it's unstoppable. Governments are taking notice. From Nairobi to Jakarta, conversations are shifting. No longer about someday, but how soon can we get it? What India built for itself is now being studied as the template for nations everywhere hungry for clean, cost-effective transport that works in the real world, not just the showroom. This isn't about selling cars. It's about creating access. It's about building an ecosystem where local parts replace expensive imports, where mechanics become EV specialists, where charging stations are powered by rooftop solar panels, and where villages once ignored by industry now become hubs of green innovation. The Yakuza is not following global trends. It's setting them. And the genius isn't just in the vehicle, it's in the philosophy. Build what's needed, remove what's not, empower people, not corporations, make the environment a priority without turning it into a premium. It's a mindset, one that's winning the hearts of everyday people around the world. The car itself is only the beginning. With every Yakuza that hits the road, it sparks opportunity, new jobs, cleaner air, more freedom, more dreams fulfilled. It proves that being sustainable doesn't mean being expensive, that being efficient doesn't mean being complex, that being innovative doesn't mean being exclusive, and perhaps most importantly, that big change can come in small packages. So while billion-dollar brands compete in the race to be the flashiest, India quietly built the car that's becoming the most impactful, one that's not designed for the elite few, but for the billions still waiting for their first seat behind the wheel. The Yakuza Mini is more than a car. It's a key to freedom, to inclusion, to possibility. And once that key turns, the world may never go back. The Yakuza Mini EV didn't arrive with a billion-dollar campaign or glowing endorsements from influencers. It simply rolled into the spotlight carrying one powerful idea: that clean personal transport should not be a privilege, but a right. And that message didn't just echo through the streets of Mumbai or Chennai. It's now thundering across borders, reaching the ears of small business owners in Nigeria, students in Vietnam, and mothers in Guatemala who walk miles each day for groceries and school runs. These are the people who were never part of the original electric vehicle revolution, until now. Because this car is not just electric, it's electric in purpose. It is powered by local parts, fueled by local labor, and engineered with empathy instead of ego. While others obsess over top speed, The Yakuza quietly focuses on something far more radical, making sure that someone earning a modest income can plug in their future overnight and wake up ready to go. It doesn't care about luxury ratings, it cares about reliability, reach, and being ruthlessly affordable. And in doing so, it has cracked open a door that was always bolted shut to the global majority. What makes this story even more profound is that it is not confined to India. Conversations are already happening in boardrooms and ministries far beyond its borders. Countries that have long been forced to import overpriced, gas-guzzling vehicles from richer nations are now looking at this tiny machine with big intentions. They're asking, if India can do this, why can't we? If a vehicle this small can carry so much change, why haven't we demanded better until now? The Yakuza Mini is reshaping not just how we move, but how we think about mobility itself. And while the headlines still chase the glitz of self-driving robotaxis and AI-powered dashboards, this humble electric car is winning something far greater: the trust of people. The trust of a father who can finally drive his daughter to school without depending on public transport. The trust of a market vendor who no longer has to rent a three-wheeler to deliver goods. The trust of a single mother who just wants something safe, clean, and cheap to get to work. This trust isn't earned through tech specs. It's earned through understanding, through design rooted in reality, not fantasy. The global automotive story has long been written by the rich for the rich. But now, a different script is being drafted, in the workshops of Indian startups, in the hands of engineers who grew up sharing scooters with siblings, and in the minds of dreamers who believe that progress should not leave the majority behind. This car is not here to compete with Tesla or BYD. It is here to rewrite what competition means. It doesn't want to out-luxury the luxurious. It wants to outvalue the unnecessary. It's not about showing off, it's about showing up, especially for those who've waited too long to be seen. In a world where the words electric vehicle once felt out of reach for billions, the Yakuza Mini EV has stepped forward to say, not anymore. It is a reminder that real revolutions don't need rockets or record-breaking IPOs. Sometimes they just need four wheels, a plug, and an unwavering belief that everyone deserves a better way forward.